I guess it's fine. I don't know why that always happens. Soki, kind of weird. Oh, someone's here. Say your name and your favorite roller coaster in the comments. Or your favorite theme park. Or whatever you want me to know about you. If you're in the live stream. There's something I gotta do. She better. I don't freaking know. Oh, hey. What's up, Auntie Megan? Okay, I'm telling you, you said this 10,000 times. No, I'm just kidding. Well, I said, to be fair, I didn't clarify specifically because I said your favorite coaster or your favorite theme park or your favorite whatever you want me to know about you. So, but I already know that though. Hey, but I was riding one of your favorite rides today. We'll talk about that later in the stream because, well, I'll just say now briefly, but Big Thunder Mountain reopened today. Yeah, from its 14 or 16-month refurbishment. It was amazing. They did so much good revitalizing to the attraction. It was phenomenal. They did a great job. But once again, we could talk about that a little more in depth once we get deeper into the live stream. But let's just say hi to some people. But that is valid, though. Great movie ride. I know you hate Mickey and Minnie's. I think it's a really good trackless ride. But, like, I'm not going to lie to you. It's a great ride. But great movie ride still looks fire. Or it looked fire, so I kind of forget. Yo, it says 22 people are in the stream. Yo, it says 33. I think that's a glitch. Okay. Oh, and by the way, guys, like the stream. Everybody say your name and your favorite roller coaster. Oh, hey, guys. How's it going? What's up, everybody? What's up? It shows that for you, too? Okay. Well, I don't know how true that is. Oh, what's up? Oh, I think we got some new people today. How's it going, guys? Welcome to the stream. Wow, there's like some new people who I haven't seen before. That's kind of cool. What's up, guys? So, we could get things started, I guess. Welcome to the Coaster Credit live stream. I'm your host. Nah. All right, how's it going, guys? Everybody who joins in, tell me your name and your favorite roller coaster in the comments. We have some cool stuff to talk about tonight. One of the main topics I want to talk about in this evening's live stream kind of piggybacks off of one of the topics I spoke about in last night's live stream. But oh, Laura, you're thinking? Okay. Take your time, Laura. But whatchamacallit? So in last night's live stream, I was talking about how Big Thunder Mountain is reopened today from its 16-month refurbishment. So that's the big thing I want to talk about tonight if we get to it. But once again, I like to keep my live streams. If you guys weren't here last night, I told you guys that I like to keep my live streams more freeform and less like strict and like professional and like structured than I do my podcast. If you guys want consistent news updates, then go to my podcast. That's where you could hear all about the theme park happenings. But here it's more chill, so it's more of like a connection kind of thing because we have the live chat. So I would most likely prefer throughout the stream, if you guys have any questions or anything you want to tell me, I would prefer that because I think it's more fun to kind of generate a coaster theme park discussion with the live chat. So yeah, if you guys have anything to say, feel free to say it because I think that's more fun for the live streams. But once again, if I have if I need things to talk about, I have things mentally prepared. But yes, Laura, I did go on it today. That's the big thing I have prepared tonight. If we have time to talk about it, I guess I'll kind of start talking about it. So, oh yeah, hello everyone. I see a bunch of people saying hi. Wow, that's crazy. We have a lot of people here tonight. A lot of these people I haven't seen before in the live stream, so that's pretty cool. You saw it was packed. It was packed. So I want to talk about the entire experience. As much as I wanted to, it would have been impossible to get the family out the house to rope drop Magic Kingdom this morning. I really, really wanted to. Because I knew it was gonna be so cool to try to rope drop and be one of the first people, but of course it didn't. But I did still go. I got one ride on it today. It was amazing. I'll talk more about it, like the specifics of the ride experience. I also have a vlog coming out from today. So, I mean, I guess the vlog would be a little redundant now because I'm just gonna tell you guys all my thoughts on it now, but either way I'll post the vlog because I also filmed my on-ride reaction, so I'm sure you guys would like to see that. So that will be on YouTube soon enough. But yeah, I'm still gonna talk about my thoughts right now. But as for like I was watching online, like the rope drop situation was insane. It looked even crazier than the rope drop on the last day of Rockin' and Dinosaur, and those were crazy. I feel like every time something opens or closes, it's the most insane thing. It's so funny. I looked at the app this morning, and Big Thunder was at 145, while Tiana's was at 5. It's hilarious. You're never going to see that again in your life. It was very packed, though. The line did decrease at a steady rate throughout the day. So I managed to snag a 45-minute line on it, which was not bad at all. Especially because I was one of the first people because it went down for a good period of time today. And there was a parade, and I was on the side of the pathway close to Adventureland and Pecco's Bill Cafe. And the parade was coming by, so it was a 45-minute wait because basically no one was there and everyone was stuck on one side. So, yeah, so I was stuck on one side of the pathway. And just everyone rushed to the other side when the parade ended, and then it spiked to like 100 minutes, so I got lucky. I got to be one of the first in the parade rush, and I snagged one of the shortest lines of the day. There were some coaster enthusiasts there. I saw some theme park vloggers. Yo, why are you spamming the chat, bro? Who are you, bro? I don't know who this is. That's crazy. I've like never had people who I like don't know in real life in the live stream. That's kind of cool. Mike, you good? That's funny. Tiana's Bayou at 5, yeah. Crazy stuff. Was Big Thunder Mountain the same or different? So, it's the same ride, I tell people. This was kind of a special thing. I talked about this in my vlog, because this is kind of a refurbishment treatment that doesn't happen like super duper often. So this kind of happened to the Hulk in 2016, where they retracked it, rethemed it, redid all that. It's happening to River Adventure, Jurassic Park River Adventure right now for 9 months, but that may be a lot less major of a change. This is that style of, it's still the same ride, but it's just refurbished and updated. So they retracked the entire coaster, same layout, just new Vekoma track. Vekoma is a third-party manufacturing company that partners with Disney to build the roller coasters. There are a lot of different manufacturers out there, but Vekoma is Disney's manufacturer of choice. Basically, all their coasters are built by Vekoma. But basically, so they retracted from Vekoma, repadded I think they got new trains. I thought they were just repainted and repadded, but apparently they're all new trains altogether. So, more to love. The new control system, new design language. So not only did they fix the things that you're going to inherently notice as a guest, the thematic elements, the way the coaster feels, but they also went and did backstage work to the things that you probably wouldn't notice in a million years, but will ultimately probably positively affect your experience regardless, because you won't notice these little design language and technological changes, but it's still there, and it still helps the ride capacity. I'm sure there's going to be less downtime or whatever goes into the design language. I think it was more about some capacity changes. Big Thunder Mountain, you got to think, is a very old ride. I believe it's from the 80s. So having this new modern, fresh track and design language, the original Big Thunder Mountain was primarily manufactured by Aerodynamics, I think. So the design language was a very lot different. That's a very old coaster manufacturing company. It's actually defunct now. So, yeah, it made sense for them to want to update that style. So, essentially, whatchamacallit, wow, I completely lost my train of thought. Holy cow. They updated some of the theming. They updated the theming in the first lift hill, which was fantastic. They updated the theming in the third lift hill. A lot of cool stuff. I'll get into it if you guys want me to get into it. Just let me know. That's crazy. I think there's one person here. I don't know why, like, it went from 33 to 1. That's hilarious. What about Splash Mountain? Oh, Splash Mountain is right next to Big Thunder Mountain, but that used to be, it's still the same log flume water ride. But it used to be Splash Mountain, but now it's Tiana's Bayou Adventure. But that change happened maybe a couple of years ago. It's funny because Frontierland as a whole has been a land of change, if you will. And there's been so much change that has happened in Frontierland. We're talking Splash Mountain to Tiana's, Big Thunder refurbishment, Rivers of America gone. By the way, if you guys know, in the queue line for Big Thunder, it's kind of a ramp upward to the top of the hill. You get a perfect line of sight to that big pile of dirt, essentially the construction site behind the work walls, where the former Rivers of America and Tom Sawyer Island was. Yep, just all dirt, infrastructure. In fact, the one part of Big Thunder Mountain right after the third lift hill that did a bank turn over the lake is now a bank turn over dirt, and essentially right in the heart of the construction. And not sure how I feel about that, but it's probably the best they could do for the sake of things right now. It wouldn't make sense to add more temporary rock theming. And the crazy part is that's probably going to be like that for a while. So really, really crazy stuff. The whole construction scheme of the new Cars Land that's replacing Tom Sawyer Island. yeah, so a lot of cool theming, but a lot has changed to Frontierland in general. What's the scariest coaster I've been on? That's a hard question. Well, nothing. That's the thing, though, because if I rode a roller coaster now, probably none of them would scare me. But the same roller coaster that I could be super chill with now, I could have been super scared of when I was younger. You know what I mean? So there are probably, like, say I rode a new really tall coaster right now, which I'm going to be getting new really tall credits soon, really fast, crazy rides at Cedar Point, Kings Island, and Holiday World. I'm taking a big coaster trip over the summer, and I'm gonna be vlogging and stuff. But yeah, say I were to ride a 420-foot tall coaster like Top Thrill 2, which is the tallest coaster in North America at Cedar Point. But you compare that to me riding Seven Dwarfs Mine Train when I was 5. I'm gonna think Seven Dwarfs is a lot scarier than I would, you know what I mean? So that's kind of interesting to think about. Because right now, none of them would scare me, but if you compare my past self, I was probably super scared of a ride like Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, as unimpressive and ironic as it may seem, with it being a very small coaster. That was one of my first coasters growing up, and it scared the crap out of me. So I'm sure that makes sense. You know what I mean? But right now, nothing really scares me. This is kind of my life in a way, so very desensitized. But yeah. What is the sketchiest coaster you've been on? That I may have a more definitive answer for. I would say maybe Hurricane at Fun Spot Kissimmee. Like, don't get me wrong, I know it's safe. I think it's manufactured by ENF Myler, if I'm not mistaken. But that thing is like, talk about like a fair style coaster. It's kind of like a Wild Mouse coaster, kind of not. It's kind of a model of its own. It's a relocation. It used to be at Wild Adventures Park in Georgia. I think it was called Viking's Fury or Viking Voyage or something. But now it's in Kissimmee. And as fun as it is, you get some decent airtime pops. It's a nice janky coaster. If you like Space Mountain, you know about getting janky airtime pops. Those give a ride a lot of character. As much as we love as coaster enthusiasts to have these very smooth, well profiled rides, that's part of my gripe. My only gripe really with the new Big Thunder Mountain is it's a bit too smooth in a way. But we'll talk about that in a second. I think like certain rides you want it to be really smooth, like an Intamin or something. But certain rides like Donkey Kong, the roughness kind of gives it character, kind of adds to the fun. So I think for certain rides, the jank is warranted in a way. And I think Hurricane is definitely one of those. But nonetheless, Hurricane is almost sketchy because of its turn radius. It's very temporary looking support structure. I mean, if one of my friends were here, we'd probably be joking about how, like, it looks like it's being held up by, like, bubble gum. You know what I mean? Funny, though. But, yeah, good questions. Oh, hi. I think that's my sister. So, unless you guys have any more questions, do you guys have any questions, comments, concerns? If you guys don't, I could keep talking about Big Thunder. But the theming was great. So I'll talk about the real changes to the theming. There were little things that they didn't really do that I kind of wish they did. I wish they fixed some of the things like the effects, like the interactive things that you can spin while you're in line. They didn't fix those. So there were minor things they could have fixed, but they didn't. But the main, I'll say 3 thematic things they changed. They didn't change anything in the queue, but the 3 things they changed as far as theming is they repainted the town of Tumbleweed. The opossums are gone. I don't know if that's a temporary thing. I don't know if you guys know about the opossums. When you're going down the trick track, there's opossums on a tree. I love those things. I think they're fun. fun touch. But the opossums are gone for now. But the town of Tumbleweed is repainted. Looks very beautiful. The first lift hill was great because they replaced the old bats. They were very cartoony and cute back in the day, but now they're cool. There's 2,000 bats in that cave, actually, and they're very menacing in their design with their red eyes. They're very cool looking and realistic. They did a fantastic job. And then the Rainbow Cavern, thematically, is probably the highlight of the new ride. I was blown away by that, like, genuinely. As someone who loves and appreciates theme parks and themed environments, it's hard to impress me. I say, as a theme park critic, I'm these parks' biggest fans, but also because of that, I'm their biggest hater. Does that make sense? When you love a place so much, you hold it to that standard, and harsh critiques are compliments in a way. So it takes a lot to impress me at theme parks, and that Rainbow Cavern did just about that. You had the waterfall to the left and right of the train. The caverns, like, were rainbow colors, but then they all changed to red, and there was like this big thunderous dynamite noise. It was big, it was compelling. It just had this scale to it that commanded dominance, and that's the type of stuff I love. Talk about an anticipation, like, climactic moment that just surges you into the ride layout. And then the third lift is the last main element of theming that was changed. That was cool. That was that was unexpected. Yeah, like, because everybody thought the third lift was gonna be themed to like Dynamite. It's not. That's what they did. That they didn't do that. That's what it's like at Disneyland in California, where you have the dynamite effect on the third lift. They went with something different. I think that's cool. Why have your parks be mirrors from each other? Make the parks different. So you could have Magic Kingdom and have this cool, like, gold nugget effect on the third lift with, like, lighting and ominous, like, and then you go to Disneyland, you have the dynamite effect. Two different Big Thunders, two different styles. So I thought that was a cool touch. Everybody expected we were all, like, so confident, like, oh yeah, it's going to be the dynamite effect. But they hit us with a curveball, and I'm not mad. It's beautiful. It's very great. So they did a great job. Yeah. You're concerned with how bad Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway is? Okay, that's a take for sure. It's not my favorite ride by any means, but I think it's a great use of trackless technology. I think it really plays into the whimsical aspect of the Mickey and Minnie cartoons, and I really like the projection mapping and the scene changes. I thought it's cool. But I know you hate it. You only hate it because of what it replaced, okay? I kind of get that, though, because right now I kind of hate Indiana Jones because it replaced Dinosaur. As awesome of a ride as Indy looks, you're kind of biased against it. So you may just be biased against Mickey and Minnie's because, like, I'm biased against Indy, as great as it looks, just because of what it replaced. You know what I mean? I'm not in Texas. I'm in Florida. You know, we got the Disney parks. We got Universal down here. But hello to you too, though. Oh, when did I start streaming? Oh, I don't know, man. I've been streaming for a little bit now, actually. I used to stream a lot on YouTube, but I kind of took a break for a while. But we're kind of back on it, so yeah. You should start joining, bro. You agree? Yeah. Making the rides in parks different is cool. Yeah. For sure, for sure. You would still think it's bad? Okay. Alright, sure, buddy. Sure. But yeah, that's definitely very important to keep everything different to an extent between the parks. You know, not only make, like, people talk about, like, rewritability, like how Guardians has, like, the 6 different songs, Tower of Terror has the randomized drop sequences. Like, that's all very cool. But it's also cool to have, like, between different parks, very different experiences, so that your Big Thunder in California has the Dynamite, and your Big Thunder down here has the Gold Nugget and, like, the golden sort of lighting. I think that's what they were going for. Yeah, there's, like, a giant gold nugget, so it's likely struck gold. Pretty freaking tough. You're close to hitting 150 subs. Congratulations. You're doing better than me. Hollywood Studios is a mess. Yeah, we should probably talk about that. I feel like, it's not as bad, though, as DCA. I haven't been to DCA, but I've been watching the videos. That's Disney's California Adventure. It's the second gate to the Disneyland Resort. It looks like a mess, because originally they went for, like, a theme where, okay, it's gonna be a California park, but the park's located in California. Like, the theme is California, but, like, IRL is in California. So that's like kind of, like, silly to me, I think. So, long story short, they had to change all the theming to IPs, and now they're at that awkward in-between phase where it's like an identity crisis. And Hollywood Studios absolutely also possesses that issue, but it's a bit less severe there. But it's like kind of, okay, we had a plan, Hollywood themed, very 1930s golden age. We don't like the idea anymore. Let's add IPs. We're at the awkward in between. And I think to an extent, it's better at Hollywood Studios. The only reason I say it's better at Hollywood Studios is because Hollywood Studios is a much better overall park with a much better ride lineup than DCA. I mean, it's pretty much the gold standard for a Disney ride lineup, in my opinion. But thematically, like, even though it's kind of bad, it's kind of awkward, I think, like, it kind of makes sense, though, because it's Hollywood Studios, and it's like a movie studio, and Hollywood's about movies, so you have movie lands. I think that's kind of how you make it work. I think people kind of overlook that aspect of it. But DCA, though, obviously makes no sense, because California and movies, like, what? I mean, they do have, I heard someone say Radiator Springs. Like, they do have Radiator Springs. Looks really good. Yeah, Laura said Cars Land is so good. Yeah, Cars Land looks beautiful. Radiator Springs looks great. And I guess that kind of makes sense, because it's sort of California, like, esque, like, with the rock work. And they have San Francisco from Toy Story 6, which also makes sense in California. So, but I think, like, Avengers Campus, like, that doesn't make sense in California. But neither of them hold a candle to the by far the worst Disney park out there. Well, technically not anymore, because now it got a Frozen Land, and they're rebranding it to Disney Adventure World. But Walt Disney Studios in France, before they started, like, making it better, jeez, bro, look pretty. You subbed. Thank you, Bloxy Universe. I really appreciate that. DCA is fun. Yeah, DCA looks like a solid time. I think it would have made more sense to put Galaxy's Edge at DCA as opposed to Disneyland, but it's whatever. DCA has Guardians, which is really good. Mission Breakout, the retheme of Tower of Terror, which nonetheless, as amazing as Tower of Terror is, and as much as I think they should never touch Tower of Terror in Hollywood Studios, I don't care how cranky they get about not owning the Twilight Zone rights. Don't even think about that. I'm scared. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a little scared about its future. That's not me being not optimistic, but I'm kind of scared. Not of the ride system's future. That drop tower will be in Hollywood Studios till the end of time. But thematically, it's a little concerning. I'm not going to lie to you. But Mission Breakout, as much as I miss Tower of Terror, and I'm a big fan of it, looks like a good retheme nonetheless. Mission Breakout looks really fun. But it would never work if you even wanted to retheme Tower at Hollywood Studios, because Tower at Hollywood Studios is special, like the rest of Walt Disney World. You know, we're the only resort that has 4 parks, not 2. All the others have 2. Everything's special here, and our tower is special because it's the only one that moves horizontally in the fifth dimension scene. That would not work for a fast-paced ride like Guardians because it's moving too slow. That wouldn't work within the plot and the ride. It only makes sense for Tower of Terror because Tower of Terror is about the slow build-up, the eeriness, the anticipation. So even if they wanted to retheme it, they're kind of, they can't get rid of it, bro. But yeah, they have Radiator Springs Racers looks really good. Mission Breakout looks good, and Incredicoaster looks solid. Then what else is there to do at that park? Like, am I missing something? No. Web Slingers looks trash. All of Avengers Campus looks trash. You had so many great Avengers locations to do. And what did you make? Oh my gosh, a college campus, bro. What the hell? Why'd you make a college campus for the Avengers, bro? Oh my gosh. The water ride, Grizzly River Run. Wow, Laura. Yeah, you're right. That Grizzly River Run alone just salvaged DCA. Oh, Grizzly Peak. I was close enough. You're right. That one ride just absolutely salvaged the park. I love it now. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Do not touch Tower of Terror. Absolutely never touch that ride. Never, ever, ever touch that ride. Dude. Yeah. But yeah. Big Thunder today was pretty freaking sweet. My only gripe, the retrack, Vekoma has become over the years, and it's a crazy pickup story, or recovery story, I guess you could say, because back in the day, Vekoma was building the roughest coasters, like the roughest, and now they're building butter smooth coasters, and their design language has gotten so good that it almost hurt Big Thunder Mountain in a way. I know that seems really ironic, but they've gotten so good at building the most precise, most smooth coasters that it kind of made Big Thunder Mountain too smooth in a way. As much as I hate to say it, it's a less intense, more gentle ride than it used to be. Okay, it's not like a crazy difference, but the height requirement is now lower because of the changes that were made. And it's, when I tell you it's glass smooth, it is the smoothest thing out there right now. You still have the great laterals, the great floater airtime pops throughout the layout. The only part, oddly enough, that was really still like janky was the trick track in the town of Tumbleweed. It's the weirdest thing because it was almost a jarring transition in a way, because the entire ride was so smooth, and that little jolt, like that trick track when you're in the town of Tumbleweed and you keep banking to the side, was still janky as ever, and I appreciate that. That may have been the best part of the new ride, just because I loved Big Thunder so much for the fact that it felt out of control. It felt rickety. Once again, I talked about that. It's a mine train that makes sense in the ride's design language. Okay, it's like a wooden coaster. Wooden coasters aren't meant to be butter smooth. They're not meant to be aggressively rough like Mind Blower at Fun Spot Kissimmee either. But nonetheless, they should be raw and have that bite to them in a way. And Big Thunder Mountain always kind of had that. It's the wildest ride in the wilderness. You should expect a little bit of a rickety yeehaw kind of thing. That's part of the theming. That's part of the charm in a way. So, I mean, it goes without saying, but it's so smooth now that it almost takes away from that in a sense. And I think now my favorite part of the ride, it's kind of weird. The lift hills are kind of my favorite part of the ride right now because of the theming. That's funny. No, but obviously, like, all jokes aside, like, my favorite part of the coaster layout may just be right now that trick track, because it's the only part that kind of maintained that raw feeling in a way. They kind of screwed over my favorite part of the ride. I'm going to be honest with you. My favorite element, I, as a coaster enthusiast, memorized ride layouts by heart, and I know specific elements after the other. And my favorite element of the ride, I was so scared this would happen because I love it dearly, but it's kind of gone in a way. So right before the third lift hill, there's a hill that flattens out, turns, and does a double down. Kind of like something you would see on an RMC, like Wildcats Revenge at Hershey Park, if you're familiar. I always loved that hill. And the reason I kind of suspected that would kind of be on the chopping block in a way, the element is still there, but the forces it provides are definitely toned down. Maybe it was slightly reprofiled. I could see that being a possibility. Because of course they added the new track, so like while we're at it, we might as well reprofile. You know what I mean? And it makes sense because the height requirement's a lot lower, and that element was almost so fun that like it would almost be bad for a littler kid, like due to its forcefulness. So I kind of get why that one moment of the ride was kind of scaled back, because you're building these new trains, you're building a new track, you're doing all this from scratch. You want to decrease that height requirement by 2 inches. That's got to go. You know what I mean? Because I credit that element. First of all, Disney's great because their ride operators are so relaxed. So you can have a couple inches between your lap bar and really enjoy that airtime. So I would always get like borderline standing airtime on that moment, even if it was tight on me. It would still like be crazy. So, that's kind of taken away in a way, because I was like, okay, this is my first ride on the new Big Thunder. This is a special moment. I've been hyping this so highly. I, in fact, on the ramp, the descending ramp into the station, for the first time in forever, my heart was actually kind of beating on a coaster. And it wasn't because I was scared. It was just because, once again, these rides are so important to me as a coaster enthusiast that I've been hyping this up so much, and you're kind of scared, like, is it gonna live up to the hype? You know what I mean? And I hold Disney to such a standard that they've shown what they're capable of doing, that I'm like, is it gonna hold up? It did hold up. They did a great job. But I'm just saying though that like I was super excited, and when I got to the station, like I had to make sure this was a great first ride. So I sat in row 13, probably the magic seat on the ride because it's the front row of the back car, essentially. So yeah, I was like, yeah, I gotta do it right for my first time, and I was ready to be like flung out on that thing, and I got floater, but I didn't get flung out. Now I know laterally, the ride is more intense in the back. You get pulled over on the helixes and the hills, so that's why like I always appreciate it for being a back row ride. But I know it kind of does make sense because it's such a long train that it takes the back sometimes a bit to trail over, and in the front you do kind of get the more initial pop. So I'll try out that element again in the front. Maybe even in 15 it'll be a little bit better. So I don't know. I Part of it's probably because it's running slow. You know, it is a new coaster. It needs time to break in. But nonetheless, that element was most likely changed. I get it. It makes sense. Magic Kingdom, world's most attended park. You see more families than you can point a stick at. So it makes sense. It's just maybe a little disappointing. But I don't know, though. Once again, I got to get a new good feel for the new ride. I got to try out in different rows. I got to see what's going on, how it's running on certain days, let it break in. So, yeah, so that's just a little bit about Big Thunder Mountain. Yeah, man, that's what's going on with Big Thunder. I've been talking about Big Thunder a lot. Let me just read this comment. Want to check out my edits? Oh, you do edits? That's cool. I'll be sure to check them out after I get done with the live stream, sure. What kind of edits do you do? Why don't you tell me that? But yeah, trying to think. We can get the live stream going for a little bit longer. Once again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. I would really appreciate it. Soaring over America. Yes, we could talk about that. I'm pretty sure I already talked about that in my podcast a little. But you do Goku / I know Goku, but I don't know JJK. Is that an abbreviation or something? If that is, I apologize. But could you just tell me what that is? But that's cool though. That's cool, man. Soaring over 192. How could I forget that? That's such a meme. Jujutsu Kaisen. Oh, I've heard of that. That's cool. Soaring over America. Yes. I'm excited. Yeah, I think. Oh, did you see the Patrick Warburton video where he was like talking about what you can like he was like joking around like about Soaring Over America? That was pretty funny. Of course, that's the guy from the Soarin' pre-show, very iconic. But yeah, that's a good thing for us to talk about now, because I already talked about that in the podcast. I talked about this in another episode. Like, I don't want to talk about everything on the live streams, you know what I mean? Because I kind of want you guys to have stuff to be excited for in the podcast, you know what I mean? And not like I already know it all, but I already spoke about this in the podcast, and you guys probably already know regardless. So we can talk about that. I see what parts will be featured. Do you think? Yeah, I think, let's talk about that, guys. Mount Rushmore is going to be on it for sure. There's no way Mount Rushmore is not going to be on it. The White House, right? The White House. They're probably going to have some sort of waterfall, some sort of mountain, but it's got to be different than the one, you have. I don't know if the one is like Niagara Falls or whatever. Oh yeah, regardless, it would be in America, so you'd have to use like a different mountain than whatever like Swiss Alps mountain they have on the ride or whatever. So yeah, just come up with some sort of mountain in America, like a river, a waterfall, stuff like that. Probably the Empire State Building for sure, right? Yeah, Niagara Falls. Is that, I guess the New York side would work. The Washington Monument is what it's called, right? The big obelisk looking thing. Or what is that called again? I'm so uncultured, bro. So yeah, that all the Congress buildings or whatever. I forgot everything from civics. I'm not gonna lie to you. What else? What else would we? I'm not gonna lie to you. I can't think of anything else you would have. Obviously, once again, Mount Rushmore, but not everything needs to be super like political, like patriotic. Some of it can just be beautiful locations of America. You know what I mean? The big orange on 192. Yeah. If we did do Soaring over 192, we would need to have you ride the slingshot. Okay, you go through the orange. What else? You're stuck in traffic maybe. Dude, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. If I one day do like theme park parodies, like I know Coaster Studios used to do those. I eventually I gotta do Soaring Over. I don't know why I dozed out. Soaring Over 192. Wait, let me get. I should. I should. That would be funny. like theme park parodies. Those are fun. I'm just lazy. I want to be more experimental with my content. I have like ideas that go beyond just the typical like vlogs, right? I have ideas like I already did like a trivia thing with my family where I did them like Disney and Universal trivia, and I challenged that to them. Like we already did that as a family, and I gotta post that eventually. I want to do a challenge. Like I kind of strategically mapped it out in my head how to do all 4 Disney parks in one day, and like actually get stuff done. That's more than like, oh, I did. It's a Small World. I did Figment, and I did Star Tours, and I did Navi River. Like, oh, I did 4 rides and 4 parks, but like a way to actually successfully do it to an extent. And I mapped it out in my head, and I'm like, oh, holy cow! If you actually lock in, you can get a solid 15 done, 15 rides done in one day. Especially with Animal Kingdom being open super early in the morning, and and Magic Kingdom being open super late at night. That gives you that window. So you're like, okay, let's start at Animal Kingdom. Then let's go to Epcot so we can get Guardians before it gets too packed. And then let's go to Hollywood and, of course, end the night at MK. Especially during the last couple hours of MK where everything's a walk-on. Fireworks, ambiance. That's just so stellar and amazing. Yeah. But, dude, I can't think of any other Soaring Over 192 ideas off the top of my head right now. Not gonna lie to you. Yeah. Alright, well, it's been a good stream. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's been a nice, decently long stream. I'm gonna try to keep my streams decently long. I know last night I rambled on for 90 minutes, which was fun. But tonight, you know, I don't have like homework, but I have a little thing I have to do for one of my classes, but it's like a 15-minute sort of thing, so I'm kind of chilling. I'm not on a time crunch as long as you guys aren't, but I don't know. Do you guys have anything else to talk about, or should we wrap it up? Get this show on the road. It's up to you guys as the audience. What's your verdict? Yeah, I'll check your edits. Don't worry, I got you. Talk more? Okay, sure. What should I talk about? Generate discussion, though. We could talk about... I already kind of touched on this on my podcast. Once again, guys, check out the Coaster Credit podcast. Not to advertise. Dude, the problem is... I don't know why... I said that. Statue of Liberty. That's a great idea. A great job, though, on that idea. But... It's kind of weird, because... Okay, I guess I got it. Oh. Because the thing is... I accidentally did it in vertical orientation, but I swear I hit portrait... Or no, landscape orientation. But I don't know why it always, switches it for me whenever I schedule the live stream in advance. So, that's, so annoying. But, because the thing is, my phone's about to die, so I'm charging it. But I gotta, since it's vertical, and I gotta, commit to it, I gotta, have the phone balanced on its charging cable. It's just falling. Dude. But, yeah. So, I talked about this in my podcast. I can briefly talk about it. But Epic Universe Celestial Park, there's rumors that, May the 4th. For Star Wars, I couldn't tell you. I don't know. Actually, you gave me an idea, though. I'm glad you asked that, because, I'm gonna kind of switch what I was gonna talk about. I'm not really gonna talk about. But for as for Star Wars, I'll talk about that because that you guys would probably be interested in that. So basically, at Galaxy's Edge, not our Galaxy's Edge at Disney World, at Galaxy's Edge in California, right now they're doing what everybody wanted, which is scrapping the timeline. So now at Galaxy's Edge in California, you're going to be able to see Darth Vader, Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, and all the people who you'd want to see. And the area is divided up into different timelines based on the different areas of the land. So I think that's pretty clever, in my opinion. Because people always complained, as cool, I think Back to Galaxy's Edge is incredible, but a lot of people like to hate it. You know, people. I think the area is incredible, and I think Rise of the Resistance is one of the greatest rides ever made. I think technologically is a marvel, and it is so impressive every single time. No expenses were spared. It's an amazing trackless ride, objectively, like, period, like nothing else. Like that's just it. Okay, that's it. Point blank. You know, people like to hate it, so I kind of get it. People are saying like, oh, that's like if they built a Harry Potter area and just based it off of Paris and Fantastic Beasts, which they did for Epic Universe, which is fine, but doing that for your first attempt. But like, and then people would be disappointed, like, okay, this is cool, but like, you're robbing us of Hogwarts and Diagon Alley. Like, we need all that first before we can go to Paris. Does that make sense? Like, we need the big, like, and people are saying that. I kind of get it though. Like, it's not true to the originals and the legacy of them. I think the original movies are a lot better. I think the new ones are kind of trash in a way. And I think I've always said this, Galaxy's Edge is the best thing to come out of the new movies. So I think it's cool that Disney's making their mistakes, or fixing their mistakes. People are saying it doesn't matter that... At first I was a little skeptical about this idea, but I think I've been changed just due to persuasion. Like, people were saying, like, I was like, oh, but it wouldn't make sense, like, within the storyline if you could have all these different people, like, da. But I think the more I think about it, it may not even matter that much, because when you look at, people are comparing it to how Islands of Adventure in the Jurassic area, you have Jurassic World Velocicoaster and Jurassic Park River Adventure. And people are saying, oh, it doesn't really matter. Like, they're the same franchise. It's just a compilation of some of the best moments within the franchise in a theme park area. And I'm starting to think, oh, you are so genius. Like, this actually makes sense. And it's not like it would be so out of the realm of possibility. Like, it would be so outlandish and so, like, immoral to have an slightly inconsistent and non-story driven Disney area. No, like, not that it's not story driven, but I think you guys get what I mean. So I see what you said. They need to do that everywhere. Yeah, exactly. So it's happening at Hollywood, and you know, all these crybabies online are saying like, oh, they hate Orlando, they just love Hollywood, oh, Hollywood gets all the good stuff. Guys, you gotta think about it. Hollywood, why did I say Hollywood? I'm so sorry. Universal's California Park is in Hollywood. Anaheim is where Disneyland is. My apologies. I don't know how many times I've said that. But you gotta think, Anaheim, California, there's a lot of actors there. It's easier to find more actors in the parks, to have in the parks, than in Florida. Not that that's an excuse, but it may just mean we have to wait a little bit in Orlando just due to common sense and issues that may arise. I'm sure they're not purposefully like being annoying to Orlando on purpose. I think people just need to understand that things happen, and realistically, they can't do everything in our greatest desires right when we want it. as upsetting as it can be sometimes. Does that make sense? Like, I get it. You're annoyed. They're getting in Anaheim. They're not doing it in Orlando. I'm sure they're going to try to get it in Orlando, because why would they just purposely do it in Anaheim and not Orlando? I'm sure eventually they're going to try to bring it to Orlando, but who knows? Like, you got to think about what's going on back in those Imagineer places. You got to give them a little more credit. Give them the benefit of the doubt. For all we know, they could just be, in a way, helping out Orlando, even though we think that's them hating on Orlando. I just thought about this. That could be them trying to help us out, but we think it's them trying to hate on us. The reason it would be them trying to help us out is, think about it. They're using Hollywood or Anaheim as the prototype to see if it works. And what if it proves to be really bad? Not that I think it will be, but why are we giving them the short end of the stick when we have no idea what's going on back in those Imagineering places? You know what I mean? So, I don't know why people are like, yeah, exactly, they need to test it. So I don't know why people online crash out and stuff. But I do agree. They need to do that everywhere when they get the opportunity. And, yeah, I'm sure eventually they'll figure it out. But I would stinking love that. That'd be so cool. Walk around characters make theme parks. It's one thing to have a roller coaster. It's one thing to have this, to have that. But when you can have everything immersive and intricate, be like you're in Star Wars, you have the characters, you have the theming. That's when you take that next step from your regional park to a world-class destination, baby. Know what I mean? So, yeah, that's really the state of things. I think the way they're going to be dividing it is the area by Falcon and the Blue Milk and everything is going to be set in the originals, okay? The marketplace is going to be Mando timeline, and the Rise of the Resistance Plaza is going to be the new ones, which actually makes sense because Millennium Falcon isn't super rooted into the new movies. It's just flying the Millennium Falcon. But Rise of the Resistance is genuinely so rooted into the new movies. That's not even funny. So that makes sense to have that plaza be for the new films. You gotta go to sleep. Alright, good night. Thanks for joining the stream. I really appreciate it. And yeah. So, well, I didn't realize it's 9 o'clock. I should probably wrap it up. Alright, bye. It's good to see you. See you next stream. Thank you very much for joining. And I guess that will wrap everything up while we're at it. So, I think Auntie Megan is the only person in the stream still right now. I appreciate your commitment. That's crazy. There were like 33 people in here at one point. I don't know what really happened. I have no clue. Nonetheless, you're dedicated. Absolutely. I really appreciate you guys. Well, I'm just going to direct the message toward you personally because you're the only one here. But I really appreciate you. Thank you very much for joining. And yeah, this has been Coaster Credit signing out. Thank you. Oh yeah, I need it. I need that luck. I very much need it right now. It's looking a little intimidating, but I appreciate that. Good night. And have a great night. Thank you guys. Or thank you. I keep saying guys. I keep forgetting you're the only one here. Thank you. I appreciate that. So, good night. Hope you enjoyed this stream. And we'll see you next time. Bye. Thank you very much.